Guys, can you see my screen? Visual for everyone? Hmm. Anyone, guys?
Yes, because it is.
Okay, fine. So let me start. So in last class we have discussed about. Let me close all the tab. Yeah. Which collection we were using? The Lotus, right? And inside this collection, yeah, here you can see we have added the assertion. So which one? Create employee, and here for the create employee, right? So here you can see we have added the assertion of validation for you can see it here for the static value, right? Here, right? Now what we can do, we will try to make this as a dynamic. Why? Because if anyone come and change the value here, then it will break, right? That expected and actual will not get matched, right? So what we will do, we'll try to make this as a dynamic. So how we can? So first let me start my server. After then I can proceed further. So sorry, server. Server. This will.
Uh, what you mean by that? Like, if someone make change and then it will break that
Yeah.
part.
Let me start my server. After I explain you. So I have started my server. Okay, so here you can see, and on the screen you have created this post request. You have passed the data, and when you connect with the server, right, when you get the response by the server, so you have added this JavaScript code where what you are trying to validate. First let me call here. I'm getting 404 not found. I think resource is interesting. Let me pass the valid resource. Yeah, you can see 8 by 8 is get passed, right? So in the as a assertion, right, what are the things you have added? First you have validated your status code. After then you validated your the first name, last name, and the birth, surname, email ID, whatever the things you want to validate from this response body. Okay, you can validate. Okay, so the things is, let's suppose address city, or you can take it as a phone number. Let's take it as a phone number. Okay, I will go here and what I will do, I will make the changes in the request. Okay, let's suppose I change the phone number. Okay, and when you run this thing, so you can see it here, your script get failed. Your script get failed, but you are getting the response. When you manually check the things are working fine. Whatever the value you have passed in the request body, you will get the same in the phone number also. Okay, so that means you think that your script is your functionality is working fine. Why it get failed? Then so there is issue in the script actually. So here you can see you have hard coded the value. This value was for the previous user, not for this user, for the current user, for this user id 101. Okay, so you have to make this as a dynamic, so that if anyone can change the value from here, any value, it will not get break. Understand? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now that is the automation script, right? That's why we are doing the automation script, so that it will not get fail in any of the cases. Okay. So what concept we can use it here? Let me remove this unnecessary code. Okay. Now I want one answer from you guys. In the post request, which one is the actual result and which one is the expected result in the post request? Which one is the actual and which one is the expected?
Expected is request and actual is what we get from the response.
Exactly. So the actual means which you are getting from the server, and the expected is which you are passing to the server, right? So if I match the actual and the expected, then your validation will get passed, right? What we can do it here, we can parse the, if you want to fetch the data using the JavaScript, right? First you have to parse that object. Okay, parse that object means you have to convert that JSON object into the JavaScript object, right? Into the JavaScript object. So what you can do, if I match this request body with the response body, then that means your validation get pass or fail. Exactly correct. If you match this actual this expected and this expected result and this actual result, if you match both the things, then your assertion will get complete, right? Agree?
Yes.
Right. So what we can do here, right now what we have did, we parse the response here. We parse the response. So if you want to parse the request body, then you have to use the, you have to use a request dot data. You have to use a request dot data. Okay, how you can, let's try to, here I'm writing some message here so that everyone can understand. Pass the request body which we are sending to the server. How you can pass the request body? Same thing. Create one variable, store inside that variable request body. Okay, request body. You can give some proper naming also, like the employee request body, or created in request body, something like that. Okay, it's up to you which variable name you are using here. Okay, here I can use, if I want to parse, then I have to use JSON dot parse concept to parse, to convert the JSON object into the JavaScript object, so that we can perform the action. If you want to use that particular property, first you have to convert into the JavaScript object. After then you can use that. Okay. So same thing I am doing here also, which I have did ever. So request body dot body. I think syntax is correct, which we are using. Okay, request dot data, request dot data. Okay, so when I run this request, it will go to the request body and it will get this request body and convert this request body, the Java JSON object, into the JavaScript object and store inside this variable. Okay, so if you console this variable, let's try to console.log request body. If you try to console this thing, you can see the result. Console and clear this thing. Let me remove one console. Let me remove this console because we already discussed. So let me remove. Right now I'm trying to call here. You can see it here. You can see it here. The data which you are passing in the request body, you are getting the same data here also. Okay, now what you can do when you get the data, right? So I will try to fetch the data from the request body as we have did for the response body. Same concept we will also apply here. I have stored all the request body inside this variable which I have declared, right? Now what I can do, let's suppose I want to fetch the first name. I will copy the first name property and dot same concept first name. Okay, I want to fetch console.log request body. What is the variable name? Request body. And what property you want, like let's suppose I want email id, right? So I will pass the email id here. Okay, now I want console.log in the real time when your script is ready. We are not putting this console.log into the your script part. We have to remove for the local purpose. For during writing the code, you are using this console.log for the debug purpose. Okay, so what you can do, copy the, let's suppose I want to validate date of birth. Okay, so how I can print the date of birth, how I can fetch the date of birth, response body dot property name. Right now I want this city, address city, right? How I can get the address city? Console.log response body, and for if the city comes inside the address object, right? First we have to access the parent, right? So copy the parent one dot, and then you can, what is the child key name, that is city which you want to access, so city. And now you can call, and if you go to the console, I have opened the new window of the console here. Can you see it here? Address Nitish, and it is showing undefined. Which one it was? City
Address.
actually.
I think you have not given index number in it.
Yeah, it is. We have to pass. It is the JSON array. It is an array. So if you are fetching the things from the array, then you have to use the index concept. Okay, you have to give the location of that particular position. Okay.
Sir,
So
one thing to ask.
This is a request body or response body you are checking for?
response.
I think
This is the
request
request
body.
body.
First
Yeah.
line it is request body dot email first name.
First is request body, so second all like it is response body. So I'm getting confused whether like
No. This one is the response body, which we are getting, whatever data you will get it by the server, that I have converted into the JavaScript object and stored inside this variable. Okay. And here I am using this thing here. This is the response body.
that
Okay. And
request body you are checking for, that whatever we
yeah,
gave the console now.
currently I am trying to fetch the request body. I'm
But
trying to
I
fetch
think response body is being given there.
here.
From
Oh,
first
here.
line request body. Yeah.
Second
First
is
line.
from
Okay, got it. You can change it. My bad. You can change it. Okay. Now clear? Now let me again run.
Yes.
Thanks, ma'am. So let me call again.
Sir, one more point.
Here you can see, right? Okay. Yeah, tell me, sir.
So we are declaring here request body and JSON.parse request.data, but semicolon at the end we have not used.
I told in the previous class it is optional. You can otherwise leave it. It will
Okay,
not
means
give
it's
you any
optional.
error.
In this statement only it's optional.
No, in JavaScript it is optional.
Okay,
Not
okay.
in this statement. It is in JavaScript it is optional. If you learn Java and C#, it is compulsory, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but
Okay,
here
so,
it is optional. You can put, and if you forget, then leave it. It will not give you the error message.
okay. So
Okay.
now we will compare request body properties with response body.
Exactly. So we have we fetch the response body and request body, right? Now, can I? What is this thing? This is actual and expected.
Actual.
Actual, right? Now here I have used as expected as a static data, hard coded, right? I will try to change this as a dynamic. Can I use this expected result here? Can I use now your actual and expected? Correct? Any question here?
Yes.
Clear? Clear, sir, here? Any question regarding this to understand this concept, actual and expected?
Clear, sir.
Clear. Okay. Let's move further. Similarly, here I have used the for the I want to validate the last name, and here I have used uh, last name, right? Last name, and here I want to, this is your actual, and here you have to use the expected. Instead of hard coded, you have to use the dynamic value, right? So what you can do, similarly, tell me the code. Response body dot last,
Request body dot.
sorry, request body dot last name.
Last name.
Fine. Similarly, I can also change this thing as a dynamic request body dot birth surname. Okay. Similarly, for here also, what we can do, what we can do, uh, yeah, request body dot email. Okay. Clear? Now, similarly for here also Delhi. Okay, so what can use? Request body dot address 0 of city. Correct? Now, postal code. Can I use the request body dot address index of 0 dot postal code? Okay. Now phone number. So can I use request body dot phone number? What is the phone number property name? This one. Copy this one and paste it here. Okay. This thing is correct. You don't have to change. Okay. Now you can see it here. I have passed the dynamics value for all the thing, right? And let me remove this thing. I don't want. So for the understanding purpose, we have used console.log. Now, if you call, you can see all the test cases get passed. All the validation which you have added here, it get passed. Right? If you come here and make any changes, let's suppose I have created this plan, right? This script, and some other team member coming in my team and making the changes. Let's suppose I make the changes as old Delhi, something like I can use. Okay, and here I can use like 777. Okay, and let me call. So let's try to see it's get failed or pass. You can see it here. Earlier it was failing. Now you can see it get passed. Right, guys?
Yes.
Right. Similarly, these things are coming from where? The first name, last name, prefix, email ID, where it coming out?
Environment variables.
From the environment variable. Okay. So go here, environment variable. If you also change it here, let's suppose instead of Rahul, you can use Ajay. Okay, and save it. Save it. Okay, I save this thing. Now let me call. Can you see it here? Ajay.
So because during like in the real time, we usually use this one only, this way only.
Yeah.
The verification points will be adding it.
Yeah. The same way you can do it, right? So that you have created on dynamic script, so that in every case it will work. Agree?
Yes.
Right. So like that you have to create in the real time actually. Okay, we have also snap it, but I will learn that, explain that thing at the end. But I am not using. I am writing my own code. Right. We have the ready-made things also available. If you go here, right, so you can also use, but I don't want to explain right now. First let's try to understand our code, how to write the code. Okay, is that fine? Otherwise it will take only 1 hour to explain this code actually.
Yes. Better you explain us what like how to write the code. Right.
Okay, uh, because if you use this snap it, you will stuck somewhere. You will not write the script in very good manner and in the dynamic way, whatever the scenario you want, so you can't create actually. Okay, so this is the right way to do that actually, if you are a very good tester, if you are a good knowledge of the coding. Okay, now create employee is done. Now in future your team lead asking you, your requirement is email ID should be unique. Email ID should be unique, first name should be unique, right? Date of birth should be unique. Any value you which you want to make it as a unique, how you can. So we will discuss that concept tomorrow using the pre-request script. Okay, using the pre-request script we will try to understand that thing tomorrow. Okay, how you can use the pre-request concept. Okay, now we complete the one script for the create, right? Similarly, if you have anything, not only employee, any resource, any data which you are creating, we will do in the same way. Whatever the things you want to validate, add that thing here and you can validate. You can validate. Okay, now come to get data. In get employee data, guys, what I'm trying to do it here, I'm trying to fetch the data, right? I'm trying to fetch the data. Oh, I forget the one thing. I forget the one thing in here. Here you can see this thing I have used outside the if condition, right? Agree? This
Yes.
particular, right? So guys, tell me, if the status code is not 201, let's suppose your status code is not successful, right? You are getting some other status code and you are sending to the request. So tell me, is this require? because if your test case will get passed, then you you want to validate the things, right? So can I write this thing inside the if condition?
Yes.
You can also write outside, no problem, you can write it, okay? But let's try to write inside the if, or you can write it here, it's okay. It's up to you how you are using actually.
Because here also exception handling will be there in JavaScript.
Yeah, they have the exception, but generally the postman itself, internally taking the exception handling. If you want to
So
additionally add,
because
you can.
okay, because now if not like 201 or something,
Mhm.
then in the like exception handling way, can we write that the script, or how we'll be writing in the real time? How you it will
Yeah,
be returned
generally
actually.
I have not used the the track catch actually, right, to handle the exception. So basically, you will not get required that thing. You can see if the test case get failed, you are written the else part, so it will, your test case will get failed. Okay, but if you want to
Okay.
learn like the try catch, generally the postman internally handling this try catch concept. If you want to learn, then I will explain you in the coming classes. I will provide you couple of examples so
Yeah,
that
better you explain us because
okay, no problem. I will explain you. So
So this thing I want to know, like, what is the right way to write within the if part? These are initial statement like set
ah
string, priority, this.
yeah, you think, sir, what, when your status code get passed, after then you want to validate the things, right? So try to, why unnecessary you want to execute this thing, put it inside here, okay?
Because this all will execute only when the status code is correct as
Yeah,
as per our
fine.
requirement.
You can also write it outside, right? But it's generally try to write inside, okay? Now you have written the code, and here you can see I have used the setter method to set the ID, right? Now here I have validated the things, right? I have used that ID, and here you can see the Ajay and Ajay ID, right? Similarly, when you get the data, you created the data, but when you get the data, you want to verify the data which you have created is successfully created or not, right? In the get call, right? Right, guys?
Yes. Yes.
Right. So here, same thing we can also do it here also, same thing, okay? Let's try to understand. uh, mm, Control B, it will beautify your code. If you type Control B, if you hit the Control B, okay? Employee get fat using the employee ID, response code is right. Now you want to validate this actual, and where is your expected? Tell me, guys. This is your actual, I can understand, but where is your expected?
expected is in the URL that
Yeah,
yes, we are sending that ID, no, set employee
yeah,
ID.
ID we are sending, but you want to validate first name, last name, prefix, then how you can validate that thing?
Mm, yeah, don't know.
First, we need to convert this no in JSON object.
No, that is the response body. No,
No,
I am asking
expected.
expected.
Vikas is asking
Expected is
expected.
yeah, request body.
Expect
But
is from
here we
the
don't have the request body, na?
Okay. Okay.
create employee or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing in the manual classes. I have told you, if you are creating anything, this is your expected, right? Same thing you have to verify here. This is the get call. Why I have to pass body, right? No required. So this is your expected. This data you have created, you have to verify the same thing in the get call. Okay, you have to verify the same thing in the get call. So what you can do it here, you will go here and I want to validate actual and expected. First, I have to convert this Java JSON object into the JavaScript, right? So what code I can use to convert? I can parse the response body, and where I can use one variable get response body, right? Response body or get employee response body. If in the real time you don't have the only one single resource, you have the multiple. Okay, so give some proper name so that it should be unique. Get employee response body. I have created this variable and I will use pm dot JSON dot parse, right, and then pass the response body, right? This is the syntax, right? If I'm not wrong, let me check. Yeah, okay, right. Now so from here you can get this response body. Now you have to also get the request body. Now there is not any the request body, you have to get it from here. So if you write the code this json.parse that request body in the get call, it will not work because this code will only work for this request. So that's why it's fetching from here. But in here, this will not work. It will not go to your post call and get the request body. So tell me what concept I can use. I have already given you the hint in the previous classes. Try to remind the things. You will get the answer actually.
Something like we'll declare the variable as global and then fetch it. Just trying out. I am not very sure.
Okay, so we can use the concept of we have to store somewhere, right? If you want to use this thing in subsequent call like that, if you want to use this ID, you have to store somewhere so that you can use in the subsequent call, right? Agree?
Yes.
Regarding the ID, same concept we have to use for the request body also. If you want to use this thing in the subsequent call, then you have to store this request body somewhere and then you can use from that place. Right here we have because here we have not used because this code is inside this request I have written here, so that I have directly used this variable. But if you want to use in the subsequent call, first you have to store that thing and then you can use. So we will use the concept of same set method. Here right now, here in this set method, we are individually, we are storing the ID, means individual property value, like the integer we are storing. But here we will store the whole object. We will store the whole object. So let's try to do that. So after parsing, okay, set the employee request data, set the employee request data, and what what code we can use for the set PM dot where I want to set inside the environment I want to store the environment file, right? Environment dot set and then what is your from which value you want to set, what is your variable name. So pass the variable name set employee request data and now pass the value, what value you want to store. So I have stored this thing, I have converted the JSON object into the JavaScript and store inside this variable. Now I can store this thing here. Okay, or you can directly, if you don't want to use this variable, in that case directly you can use this thing here. Instead you don't want to pass the variable name, so do not pass. You can directly use this code, this one dot pass request body here. Okay, but ideally you can use the variable. Okay, now I told you that when anything you have used the set method and you have stored any variable inside the environment, and if you want to use in the subsequent call, right? So if you are using in the test column here, in the test column you have to use the get method. If you want to use inside the pre-request and inside the test, then you have to use the get method. Okay, so here I can use get the employee data from the environment right? And here what code I can use, PM dot get PM dot from where I want to get the variable environment, PM dot environment dot set get method. Now I want to get that, so get and pass the variable name. What variable name I want? This one I want, right? So I will go and pass it here inside the double quote. Okay, so you have stored this thing here. You are trying to get that particular variable's value. Now declare one variable and store this thing which you are get it from the environment. Okay, so give some proper name here, like get employee. I'm trying to get, that's why I'm giving the name as a get employee request data. Okay, now if you try to console this thing, console dot log and get employee request body and pass it here and call console dot log, clear this thing and call. It's showing 0. Let me call this thing. Okay, actually null value get assigned because in previous case it was 404 not found. That's why. Let me call again. Yeah, now if you go here, can you see the value? Right, so now this is your what? This is your expected. This is your expected data now. This is your expected data now, right? So you have both the things. This one is the actual and this one is the expected, right? Agree? Similarly, if you want to fetch value, you can using that variable you can fetch the value. Let's suppose I want to fetch first name, copy, and now for using this variable you can access the value. Okay, and let me call. Here you can see Ajay. You can see it here, Ajay.
Sir, in this we are using get method. In that we are using variable name in double quotes. So will it take this as a string or what?
No, it will take it as, it will go to the environment and take the value. It will not take it as a string.
So here we can use variable name within double quotes. Because in
Yeah,
Java it is a string.
when you are trying to get the any variable from the environment from other places, right? In that case, you have to only use that variable inside the double quote.
Okay.
Okay. Now I can write the validation. Now I can write the validation. Can I copy this thing? Can I copy this value? Can I copy this thing and same stuff? Now test verify the employee first name and employee first name is and change the actual and expected. So now tell me the changes here. What changes I have to make here? Tell me. According to the variable, because this variable I have used in the create call, in the post call. Now here we have the different value, I think. Here you can see, right? So we can see, we can use it here, get employee, and here same get employee, and here you can use get request data. Clear? Same thing I am doing here also. This is your actual expected. You are getting the variable from the get employee response body from this, right? And this is your actual, where you are getting the first name, and this is your expected get employee request data dot first name. So this one, from this particular one you are trying to get the data, and this value will fetch it from the environment where you have stored inside the create call. Okay, so can I make the changes here, like everywhere response body and get response data. Okay, here I have, make me correct if I do anything wrong. Yeah, and here you have to check, change the response body. Let me paste it, and let me here also paste it. Response, I'm changing the variable name actually. Okay, and a request body, and here also request body, yeah, here also change it, and response body is change it. Okay, now here also response body, change it, change with the new variable which you have created, copy and change it, and here you can change it, copy and change it, and change it. Okay, now done. The script is done. Now if you call, you can see it here. You can see it here. Same thing which we have did in the post call, same thing we are doing here. Any question? If you have any question, then let me know, because this concept we will use in all the requests to write the script. If you not understand, then it's problem for you. So Amita, why you are every time joining? Try to use this call, because if you every time join, you can't see the recording session. You will, because every time you will, join as a new user, so you can't see the previous recording session actually. Okay, so do not leave the group or join. Simply, join this call actually. Are you able to see the recording? Sorry, I can't hear you properly. Can you write it on message, because your voice is breaking at my end. Okay, so you can see it here. We have written the code here. We have written the code, right? Any question regarding this code? If you have any question, then let me know, guys, because this concept I will use in the coming classes. If you not understand, I'll again repeat. If it is clear, then I will proceed further. We use the same concept here, which we are using in the create call. We are using the same concept here in the get employee data. Same concept, but the things difference is the get, right? The get you want from the create employee data. This is your the expected result. And when you go to the environment, and when you go here, what variable you are using? Yeah, set employer request data. If you go here and here, you can see it here. You can see it is stored as an object. You can see whole object is stored, not the individual property, whole object.
So here when we are running this get call, we should run post call and then run the get call immediately, right?
Yeah,
Because
it is
because
in the sequence, right? It is in the sequence, because when you are running your script in the real time, it should be in the sequence actually. Okay, because if you want to get call the get, first you have to create the data, right? Or you want to check with the existing, then you can hard coded the things here. Simple. You have to hard code the value here. Okay, and similarly the things has to be also hard coded here in other places.
okay, but usually we write this way only, right? In
Yeah,
real time.
exactly. Whenever you get the requirement, right? So you will also get the post call, get call, patch call, delete call. Okay, this all the CRUD operation will get, you will get for any resource in the real time. If you open anything, any REST API, any REST API, if you open, if you take this one here, you can see. Yeah, create user, update user, list user, delete user. If you get some other one like the Swagger requirement, this one, here you can also see post, get, delete. If you check some other REST API example, let's suppose RESTful API. Give me a second. Full API. So I think this one is one. Whether REST API. if you open this one is the weather REST API. To open this one, here you can see this is your requirement. This is for the get call, right? And parameter which you have to pass, okay, by city, okay, the geographical condition, right? And get by zip code, right? So like that you will get the things, actually all the things they will provide in the requirement, what value you have to pass actually. Okay, if you go to the API section, here you can see these all are the REST API, right? This, if you want to use, you can use, but it will the license one, if you have to purchase the license for that. If you want to use this API, you have to purchase the license. They are free, are also available. You can use it at a free, but I have given you sufficient example, guys. Here you can see the weather, the historical, these all are the example actually. The weather map, these all are the example. Air pollution, if you want to check the air pollution, right? This is for the that API is actually. And if you go and check the GitHub API, GitHub developer API, the GitHub API, right? If you go to the reference and to go to the, these all are the resource, anyone can use, it's up to you which one you can use. If you go, I think you guys are not doing the practice, so this thing you have not observed. So you can see if you use any your API, so you can see they are using the CRUD operation, get, and you can see post, uh, post and get, right? And you can see patch. Similarly, we have somewhere delete also, delete. Okay, so you will get all the things. Okay, so we have, yeah.
One thing, like here we are creating one user and we are validating by get
Yes.
request, but suppose in project they give us 10 12 post
No,
requests,
we
and
can't.
then
In REST API, we can't create the multiple API. You will not get that thing. Don't worry, because we are not using the SQL here. Okay, SQL, right? You don't have to create the user in the bulk. If you want to create, then you have to execute the same thing multiple times. At a time, one user can create.
so any other way by which we can do
No,
multiple?
no. You have to execute this thing multiple times. That's it.
Okay, so
If
we
you
can
take
make
any
a
of
loop.
the things API, you one time using the post method, you can create only one JSON object.
Can we put this post request in some loop and then we can?
No, yeah. What I told you, you using the if you can run this call multiple times. So
Yes.
that means if you go to the run collection, right? If you change the loop here, 4, then your post request will call 4 times and 4 data will get created. That's it.
Okay,
The
and for
iteration.
that also, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 4 user will get created and you can execute. Okay, but using one request you can't. Using one request, inside the one request, if you want to pass the multiple one, that you can't achieve here.
Okay, and when we need to validate like in if part, then we can put it in some loop and do for multiple entries.
Yeah, that's why we are writing the, if I run this code, let me go to the run section and deselect all, and what are the requests we have? Which one we are using?
Post any post.
Create the employee. Give me a second. Create the employee. This one, I think, right? And this one. Let's suppose we are. I want to execute this thing 4 times, right? And I also want to delete. Okay. So I don't have to write the specific code for every user, because I have written the generalized code, JavaScript code. It will applicable for all the user. If I run, you can see it here. Why it is 404? Any changes I have made? Let me check it. It's working fine. Let me say, close all tab. Let me say, go to the runner, deselect all, and create, and let's suppose I want to delete. I'm running this thing as a 4 times and run. Yeah, you can see it here. This particular the post method is executed for the 4 user, right? For the first user, you can see it validated all and it's verify the data, right? And it get deleted, right? Now in the second case, we are verifying, you are creating the data and your all the validation get passed and you are verifying the same thing. That's why we written the dynamic code here, JavaScript code here, so that in every case it will work. If you even change the values also, any name here, any username, this will work. This will be the common code for all the user validation.
Suppose if you want to send like multiple user creation at a time, and we are like sending through like data driven testing, if we are doing, then how will be validating that from the file, the data?
Come again, man.
If suppose, is it possible here like data driven testing, like in a excel file or in a any text file will send the many users at a time for the post request, like creating the users, because at one time we can create only one user using this script, whichever you are showing now currently. So but I want to send now like suppose 10 users to be created at a time, and like sending it through the file. So is that possible here?
Yeah, you can do it. Okay.
So that time
So
how the script it will fetch from the,
same,
because it
same,
has
same script will run. I will not make any single change. This will work. Not made any single change. Let's when I come to the data scope. Okay, let me explain that thing. If you go here, we have here the select file here. Okay, so I want the data from, let's suppose, give me a second. Let's suppose I'm creating one file here. Okay, I'm creating one file here, CSV file. Okay, comma separated file. I have already have this one. Let me use this file. Okay, I have already this file. This concept I have not explained to you, right?
no.
Yeah, that will in the data scope actually. When we come to the data scope section, here it is. Data scope. Where it is? Yeah, data scope. Okay, so let me explain you, no problem. So let's suppose you want the data right now. What we are doing here, we are getting the data from, I'm passing the static value or hard coded value in the request, or you are getting from the environment, right? Right. So you want the data from this file, right? From the file you want the data. Okay. So what you are doing here, let's suppose not use the multiple one, we delete one, you can use two. Okay, we use the two and let me save. Okay, last name. Okay, let me use this variable here. Okay, last name, first name I have used, last name, let me use it here. Use it here, right? And if you go, we can't run this from here because this file is external file. right? So you have to run it from the runner actually. Deselect all and select the file which you want to execute, and iteration 1, and select that file which where your data is. Okay, so where is my data? Give me a second. Go to that particular file location. Yeah, this one. Okay, CSV comma separated file. Okay, and when you preview, you can see the first name and the last name. Okay, and you can run this thing. Can you see it here? Your code is executing. You can, if you go to the request body, and here you can see tiger and sing, which I have mentioned in the script. Right? Let's suppose I am mentioning Vinod, and username is Vinod Shah. Okay, and I'm using the name as Salman. Okay, and name Khan. Okay, and now what I'm doing here, I will go to the runner, and select that particular file, this one, right? And deselect and select the particular one. Okay, and let me delete also. If you go a preview, you can see the 3 column: first name, last name, Vinod, Shah, Salman, and Khan. You can see, right? If I execute, you can see iteration get changed, auto get changed. It will identify that CSV file, and it will auto select the file is in the txt CSV. So you can also create in the JSON file. And if you go to the preview section, you will get that thing. Okay, and when you run, your test case will execute it 3 times. You can see it here, the first, second, and third, right? If you go and check the first data request body, tiger, right? And if you go in the gate, it's verifying the tiger. This one, okay, tiger. Here you can see tiger, right? If you go to the second iteration, the second user, can you see it here, Binod? Right? And here you can see it's verifying the Binod. And when you go to the third one, you can see Salman Khan. So that's why we have written the dynamic script, so that it will not get failed. Clear, madam?
Yes. So this way, when we'll be using this Vikas in real time, usually this like the file uh,
Okay,
in
that I
which.
will explain you in data file, in data
Okay.
scope.
Okay.
Okay, okay, that I will explain you. No worry. Okay, so we have written the code in the get. Let me use the, I don't want to. If you are using the data from the CSV file, then you can't run it from here. If I run, it will take as a a string. So it will always run through the runner actually. It will always fetch the value. If you are using the data file, then you have to run through the runner actually. It will not individually run. So let me change the value here. Let me change the value here. Okay, now let me run. I think it will work. You might have one question, that you are getting the data from the uh, Excel file, CSV file, then how the data fetched here as expected? Anyone have answer? I fetch the data from this file, but I have not written any code for that to read the data from here. Then how you are validating the expected result?
I think whatever the value will be sending, that will be passed in the body, and then the response will be getting. So it refers to that value what we are given there in the body. And
Exactly. It's taking the data. When it's running, it will fetch the data from the CSV. And in the body, I am getting the data from the request body. So that's why I'm fetching the data from here, not from the Excel. Right? Okay.
Not understood this point.
but here, because one doubt, see in
Mm-hmm.
Excel file you had given as first name, okay. But here
Mm-hmm.
the environment variable it is. You are referring here environment variable, the first name, yes. So there won't be conflict like
No, no,
now we
I
are
changed actually. I revert the changes. Earlier it was first name.
okay.
I revert the changes actually. It was the first name.
So we'll be giving the same first name right here.
Yeah,
Means
yeah,
whatever
same.
in the Excel file, the same
You
column
have to
name
use
needs to
the
be given.
same header you have to pass. Okay.
Because this Excel file thing I've not understood. Can you tell what you do it from start?
That I will explain you in the data scope, sir, in the separate class. Okay.
Like uh, here in you Postman you change.
Sorry.
Like in Postman you change and you ask this question like that.
Yeah,
that
I told you that if you are using the uh, if you want to run this individually, right? So you can't run it from here. You have to use the runner, the first thing, right? Using the runner, it will applicable, right? And here I have used the request as expected. Why? Because we are getting the data from the request body, not from the Excel body. Okay, that's why our test case get passed. It get validated.
but like here we are getting data from Excel file, no? Like first name, last.
But this first name is where it is coming.
It is coming from environment.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Okay, let me change it here. Let me use this variable.
Surname you can use.
Okay, I have created two header here, first name and the last name, and I'm using first name and the last name here. Forget, this value I am getting from the CSV file, So when I connect with the server, it will go and check this variable, where this variable is assigned, is created. So it will go to the CSV file and it will check here you have created this variable. So it will get the value from here, right? Here, and put it here, right? So but in our test here, in our test section, right, I am getting the value from the request body. So tell me, is this same thing or not? I am not taking from the Excel file. I am taking from the request body, but the request body is getting from the Excel file. So means I am doing the also the same thing, but I am not approaching the CSV file. I am taking from the request data, but data is same, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Let's suppose we have the three person Vikas, Rahul, Vinay, right? You want note from Vinay, right? So what you are doing, you asking to the Rahul and you are saying to the that could you please take the note from Vinay? So Rahul will take the note from Vinay and Vinay provide to the Rahul and Rahul provide you the no to me, right? So I'm not directly taking the note from the Vinay. I'm taking from the Rahul. So but the note is same, right? The note is same here, right? Same concept here. The request body get the data from this Excel file, right? And I am validating the things by taking the data from the request body. Same thing, right?
Okay, and how it is like able to check that this column name is the data
That
this
is
Excel
uh, that is the internally implementation. Do not understand. That
because
is
in
the postman has developed that thing.
like runner collection file we have
Basically
to,
what happened, when whatever the value you will write it here, it will go to the first name and it will find that particular column and it will take the first value. When the first execution get completed, then it will take the second iteration. Then second iteration will get completed, then it will take the third one, like that.
Like,
Because right,
Yes, sir.
in that Excel file,
Mhm.
instead of that first name, if you write last name, and instead of last name you write first name, it will work.
Yes, it will work. Let me change. I'm using last name here, right? And here you are asking to write the first name, right?
Yeah.
So let's see what happened. Save this thing and run. If I go here to the runner, run collection, deselect all and create, right? We have completed 2-1, and let me also delete this thing and select that file, data CSV file, comma separated file, right? And if you go to the preview section, you can see wherever you have used last name, the last name will pick Tiger, Vinod and Salman. Now the last name is different. The first name is Singh Shah Khan. Okay, and when I run, your execution get completed, and when you check response body, can you see the first name? The first name is Singh. First name is Singh, and the last name is the Tiger.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. It is taken by the names only, like first name and
The header name which you are passing here, based on that will identify.
okay.
so because in this like runner collection file, runner collection, we have given the link of this Excel file, but in like
Yeah.
post request, it is also able to take the Excel file data. So it is something like internal feature of Postman.
Sorry, come again.
Like in this post request, we have given first name, which is column name of this Excel file data, and it is able to fetch the result.
No. If you are running individually without runner, if not using runner, then it will not work. That's the same thing I'm asking you. Not work. It will always work with the runner.
Okay, means in runner post request.
Yeah. If you want to validate, then you have to use the runner actually. Okay. It will not work. You can see the value not get fetched.
Yes, because link we have given in runner window only.
Yeah. Okay. So in tomorrow class we will understand the get all data. So when I call the send, right, in the get employee data, it's very easy because the only one object is there. Only one object is there. But when you use get all employee data, there is number of objects are there. You can see from this object you have to find your data and validate. Find your data and validate. Okay, so guys, tell me, this is your response which you are getting. Let me copy and go to the JSON editor. I will take only 2 minutes. JSON editor and paste this thing here. Now this is your response which you call get employee data. Now you have to write the code. Let's suppose this is your data, Anjali. This data you want to verify, right? Now how you can tell me? Manually, if I'm asking you, then how you can verify? Manually, if I'm asking you, if you have the single object, if you use the get employee by id, then you can easily, because you have the single object, right? But in the case if you have the multiple objects are there, right, and you don't know the position of the Anjali where it is located, right? So first tell me manually how you can verify.
We will check the array.
So can I do manually verify the Anjali? It is Rahul test. No, it is not. Payal, it is not. Then Anjali, yes, it is. Let's suppose it should in the last. Then again you will continue. Mayank, no, it is not. Amita, it is not. Like that you will do, right?
Yes.
Right. So in automation testing, in using code, we'll try to achieve this thing. So in tomorrow class we will discuss the loop concept, looping. Okay, let's suppose loop in Java or JavaScript, loop in JavaScript. Okay, so in tomorrow class we will discuss the loop. What are the loops we have? The for loop, do while loop. Okay, so using that we can achieve this thing. Okay, so in tomorrow class we will understand the loop concept. So I would recommend go through the loop. If you able to understand, try to refer any of the site or loop in Java. Let's try to understand in Java. Okay, so here you can refer any of the site and you can go through that, right? So in tomorrow class we will discuss the loop concept, how you can validate the things if the things are in array, right? And after that we will try to automate the update and delete. After that we will try to use the pre-request. After then I will explain you all this scope. Right now we are explaining the environment. Okay, after then I will explain you the other one also. Clear? Okay, and one more thing guys, I am sharing you this collection with you so that you can do the practice. Okay, so let me rename this thing, edit and make the changes here. Rename, create, let's suppose what is this, create employee. Okay, create employee. So I will provide you this thing. So let me export and I will provide you. You will go to the import section, import, and you can use. Okay, so let me change the name here. Otherwise you have to create the CSV file. Okay, I will provide you the environment file, and this collection, so that you can import in your machine and you can refer the code. That code I have written inside the create employee, for create employee and get employee data. Is that fine? So that we have the reference.
So be thankful, sir.
Yeah, so thank you guys, we'll meet tomorrow in the same time. Please do the practice guys. Okay, thank you. Let me share. Thank you guys, have a nice day. Let me share this thing with you guys. Export. Today we have holiday or working?
Yes, we have holiday Janmashtami.
Oh, then we can take the class. I forgot.
I
Okay,
think
no
if
problem.
other people are
No, I think some of the person left the class. Nobody already left the class. I forget. Yeah, today is also my holiday, but I forget to ask you the holiday or not. Then we can take some more half an hour more. No problem. Okay, let me save this file. I have saved this file, and let me go here, edit. If you want to go edit and go here and export the environment file also. Let me export and let me provide you both the files so that we will do the practice. Let me go here. Second. Which file you are using? Test environment. This one is your environment file. And let me provide you the let me provide where is the where I have imported what is the collection name here? Test bank API collection. Test bank API collection. Yeah, here. Okay. Okay. So thank you guys. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Same to you, Vikas.